Hey, what's up guys? Travis here. I wanted to make a video for, this video is for Gustavo. Gustavo, I'm sorry that it's taken me so long to do this, but I finally got around to it, so here it is. This is a video and trying to shed some light on the idea of what is a proper solvent to clean your pipes with. So some of you guys may already have feelings and thoughts about this, and so what I'm about to say is not necessarily what I recommend for you to do because it's different for everybody, but just want to give you some clarification on the concerns about cleaning your pipe with different types of alcohol. So first of all, the concern is, of course, if I clean my pipe with any kind of alcohol other than grain alcohol or alcohol that's safe for me to drink, that it's going to leave some kind of residual remnants or something left behind that's going to make the pipe taste gross or going to make myself ill if I smoke it. And I understand the concern to that, and that's something to be wary of. So of course the best way to avoid that is to use grain alcohol. A lot of people suggest something like Everclear. Everclear would work well because it has the highest alcohol content, which means it has the lowest water content, which all that means is that the more alcohol present, the better it's going to dissolve the tars and the goo and the gunk, and the faster it's going to dry. The excess water, you're not putting enough in there for it to harm anything, unless you just put it in there and let it sit and soak. If you just poured Everclear or any grain alcohol in and just let it sit, that might not be great. But I wouldn't recommend doing that with anything. Myself, I use rubbing alcohol. I don't keep alcohol in the house to drink, and a bottle of rubbing alcohol is incredibly cheap compared to a bottle of Everclear. So let me get my bottle here. So I was doing my salt alcohol treatment on a couple of pipes this weekend, and I had this out, so I used this 91%, I hope you can read that okay, percent isopropyl alcohol. So isopropyl alcohol, that is what's in rubbing alcohol. If you look close at the drug facts that are on here, it's 91% isopropyl alcohol, and the only inactive ingredient is water. So at the bottom it says that the inactive ingredient is water. What that means is that the only two components in this bottle are isopropyl alcohol and water. Now, you may have heard the term thrown around called denatured. So denatured alcohol, that's alcohol that's not safe to drink. Isopropyl alcohol is not safe to drink. That's because the body cannot metabolize isopropyl alcohol. It will cause probably for you to puke it up. Let's see what it says here. Let's see here. It will produce serious gastric disturbances if taken internally. This is what it says. So don't drink isopropyl alcohol. However, there's nothing unsafe about using it to clean a pipe, as long as you let the pipe dry before you smoke it the next time. All the isopropyl alcohol is going to evaporate. The vapor pressure of isopropyl alcohol at room temperature, 25 degrees Celsius, is twice as high as the vapor pressure of water. So theoretically that would mean at room temperature it should evaporate twice as fast as water. That may not always be the case, but if you use it to clean your pipes and you let them set overnight, that is more than enough time, and there's nothing wrong with using that. What the concern might be is that there's different types of denatured alcohols. So usually when companies or industrial processes denature ethanol, which is the alcohol in grain alcohol, it's the alcohol that's safe to drink, they put in different type of chemicals that cause it to be incapable of being ingested. A common alcohol that's added to ethanol is isopropyl alcohol or methyl alcohol. Methyl alcohol is poisonous, it's toxic, so that causes the denatured alcohol to be incapable of being ingested. But again, if you have isopropyl alcohol or ethanol that's denatured, as long as the other ingredients are just alcohols or water, you'll be fine, because those will evaporate before you smoke the pipe again. Also, you can burn them off. I think a few people have shown videos of where they rub the inside of a bowl with their alcohol and then they light it, because that kind of helps get some of the remaining ghosts of the old tobaccos out. You can do that too, and that'll get rid of any residual alcohols and burn them off, and that'll be fine. There is something to look out for, though, when you have a denatured alcohol source. First of all, I'd stay away from any alcohols that are dyed. It's very common for pharmacies to have rubbing alcohols or any denatured alcohols that are dyed green or blue or whatever. I'd stay away from that, because any dye was once a solid compound that was dissolved in the alcohol. So as soon as your alcohol is evaporated away, if you used a dyed alcohol, it's going to leave behind some of that dye inside your pipe. It won't be a lot, and it's probably not going to be enough to hurt you, but it may be enough to just cause a distaste or a kind of a funky taste to your pipe smoke. Let mine go out. So that's something I'd stay away from. Anything that's on the alcohol label or the drug label as an inactive ingredient that is not another alcohol, so something that's not methanol or isopropyl alcohol, I'd probably stay away from it. There's a chemical that's put in denatured alcohols called denatonium. That's the short version. It's actually a chemical, that's just its common name. The chemical name is about 3 lines long on a word processing document, so I won't even begin to try to say what it is. But what it is the world's most bitter compound, bitter tasting compound. They put it in so that it causes the alcohol to be so bad tasting that you can't even ingest it. That's something that I would certainly stay away from. If you have an alcohol that you're trying to clean your pipe with and it says that it has denatonium in it or any kind of benzoate salt, I would stay away from that, because that is something that could be left residually in the pipe, because it would be a solid after the alcohol dries away, and that is not something you want in there. So this was probably a little longer and more drawn out than it needed to be, but as far as cleaning your pipes, any grain alcohol that you can drink is going to be the safest, because if you can ingest it when you're drinking, you're going to be able to ingest it if you have anything left residually in the pipe. However, any denatured alcohol is going to be fine, any rubbing alcohol is going to be fine, as long as you stay away from things that are dyed, so nothing that's dyed. You want a nice colorless solution like this one. And you don't want anything that has any kind of benzoate salt or denatonium in it, so stay away from those. And just let your pipes dry out all the way. If you do that, you'll be fine. There shouldn't be any concern for ruining the taste of your pipes. You'll notice that rubbing alcohol kind of has that kind of rubbing alcohol smell if you've ever opened it. So usually after I've cleaned mine with rubbing alcohol, I'll also run a pipe cleaner that's been dipped in a pipe sweetener. That just kind of helps add a little nice flavor to the end. But that's just a personal preference, you don't have to do that. So that's kind of it for this idea of the alcohol. So if that's all you're concerned about, you can stop watching now. But I also wanted to say the reason that our bodies can handle ethyl alcohol or ethanol, which is the grain alcohol, so we have an enzyme in our body called alcohol dehydrogenase. If you've taken biology, you've probably heard of that to some sense. It's just an enzyme in the body that can recognize ethanol and metabolize it into ethaldehyde or ethanaldehyde or acetaldehyde. Those are all the names for that chemical, which your body can then use, further metabolize, and get rid of the waste from. Your body does not have any capable enzyme of metabolizing methyl alcohol or isopropyl alcohol, so that's why those two would be considered toxic, or those are additives to making ethanol denatured. So that's something to look out for. And that's just something of interest to me if you have any kind of care for that. So, darn, I let my pipe go out. But anyway, Gustavo, I hope you appreciated this. I hope some people can get some information about this, and hopefully this kind of cleared up the air as far as what alcohols are safe to clean your pipes with and what are not. So until next time, we'll see you guys next time, I guess. Talk to you later.